Hey, welcome everyone to today's press conference highlighting the edition of EMO taking place in Milan next October from the 4th to the 9th at EMO Milano in Milan, Italy. We appreciate your attendance, and we notice there are journalists from all corners of the world joining us today, as well as a number of manufacturers, which for both groups we hope to see offline as well next year in Milan. We'd like to say a quick thank you in Italian, as we say, grazie to AMT, the organizers of IMTS Spark, for sharing this opportunity, especially to Bonnie, Martha, and Ed, as well as the AMT staff behind the scenes who've worked with us in making today's event possible. And of course, to our featured panelists and their organizations. Now, as many of you may know from either personal relationships or if you snuck a peek at the bios prior to the conference, we have a great lineup for you today. So let's start with Doug Woods, or as he's warmly known in Italy as Doug Bosco, president of AMT, the Association for Manufacturing Technology. Doug is a lifelong manufacturing professional and leads the association's drive to improve sales and market access, while also providing services that help lower their membership costs. Doug's been dedicated with a passion in making technologies and innovation available and accessible to not only fellow members, but also to potential clients and consumers worldwide. And he's held this leadership position as president for a number of years, and his impact on the industry has been well felt. Please help welcome Doug.
Thank you very much, Bart. Hey, that was really great, and gotta love that video promo for EMO. If that doesn't get you excited about manufacturing, I don't know what will, so that was super. And just one small point of clarification. Actually, my full Italian name is Carlo Boschi, and that came up because my Italian friends didn't like Doug Woods. And so I needed an official Italian name, so it's officially Carlo Boschi, and I actually have business cards that prove it. And so for my Italian friends at ITA, at UCIMO, and EMO coming up next year, you can call me Carlo Boschi. But a little bit about AMT, really glad to have everybody here this morning, joining this evening, depending on where you're coming from in the world. AMT's been around since 1902. We represent the manufacturing technology builders, designers, developers, sellers, distributors, supporters of manufacturing technology equipment in the United States. And we love doing this. It's an exciting time to be in manufacturing. And of course, really exciting with what we're able to do with IMTS Spark, really bringing unique opportunities. It's kind of, what we've done, creating a digital destination for manufacturing technologists from around the globe to really have access to manufacturing technology specific solutions. So it's a really neat way of bringing partners and technologists, networking opportunities together to a digital format and actually allow people to collaborate in these times where normal collaboration isn't quite so normal anymore. So we're glad to have everyone joining as part of Spark. And of course, excited about EMO coming up next year. It's really something to look forward to. Of course, Italy being a key market, 4th in worldwide production of machine tools, 5th in consumption, so it becomes a really important market. And actually just going to see EMO in Italy is something everyone needs to do more than once in a lifetime. So really excited to be part of the entire project for EMO next year, and any way AMT can support and help, that's what we're here to do.
Well, thank you, Doug. Now we're going to move on to our director here in Chicago, Marco Saladini of the Italian Trade Agency. Marco's been tasked with developing trade and investment relations between the U.S. and Italy in the industrial machinery, in particular machine tools, as well as automotive, food distribution, and the publishing sectors. Marco has quite an impressive and extensive overseas experience and holds a master's degree in poli-sci and a certificate in emerging markets. Marco will now greet us with some opportunities of what the agency is doing to promote EMO Milano next year in 2021, and its other activities that the agency does on behalf of Italian manufacturers and potential clients here in North America. Thank you, Marco.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very glad to see you here, and thanks for being with us, and thanks to the other speakers also for their precious contribution. I'm Marco Saladini, as you heard. I'm the Italian Trade Commissioner in Chicago. Chicago is one of the 5 offices of the Italian Trade Agency, or ITA. You will hear this acronym in my few words that I will give you today. It's a governmental organization, and we are present here in Chicago probably since more than 50 or 60 years. My office is responsible for providing support to Italian companies and associations willing to deepen their relations with the USA market when it comes to industrial machinery, automotive, food and wine, sales to major retailers, and publishing. Today, I would like to draw your attention on one of the major trade shows our beloved Peninsula hosts in 2021. We chose to do so in the framework of IMTS Spark, not only because of its prominence in the global machine tools trade landscape, but also because of a consolidated collaboration between the organizers of the two mega events. Why is EMO Milan 2021 so important for the Italian economy and for its government? One of many indicators is the incidence of the overseas sales of machine tools on Italian exports as a whole. They accounted for over $3.2 billion in 2019, or 0.6 of a percentage point. Does EMO make a difference? We do think so. The show being one of a few top-notch of its kind in the global arena, the business it generates within the major producing countries is very noticeable. And we are proud that Italy hosts 1 in 3 editions of EMO in Milan. It is fortunate that the show takes place in September of 2021, when many observers deem that a substantial proportion of the global population might be immunized for COVID-19 already, and international travel is supposed to have resumed. With over 110,000 visitors in the 2015 edition of the show, the previous one held in Milan, this is a must to let it go smoothly. As you may know, the Italian government is already authorizing, when some sanitary and administrative requirements are fulfilled, inbound travel from almost all countries in the world for business purposes in connection with trade shows and similar events taking place in Italy. As a matter of fact, another important show for this sector, BIMU or BIMU, is going to take place in less than 1 month in Milan with hundreds of confirmed exhibitors. The business relations between Italy and the USA, as far as machine tools are concerned, have been very robust in recent times. Italy ranked 5th among foreign suppliers of machine tool solutions to the USA, with estimated overall exports of 404 million USD, preceded by Taiwan, South Korea, Germany, and Japan in ascending order of sales. Last year, 2019, had yielded record results for Italian exporters, who had improved their share on imports by 1.5 points, surpassing 7.8%. The decrease in sales made by Italian producers, as everyone, in the first 7 months of 2020, has been the lowest among their peers, as they regained the 4th position in the ranking and marginally increased their market share. Italy was the 11th largest destination for USA exporters of machine tools in 2019, with 27 million USD in sales. Let's now review ITA's support to next year's edition of EMO Milan. 21 ITA offices have been tasked with promotional actions. Press briefings are scheduled in South Korea, Japan, and the USA, and media campaigns in all countries involved in the program. All actions are planned and carried out in close cooperation with UCIMU, or USCIMU, an entrepreneurial association, and the other show organizers. ITA's purpose is to make the event more global, with enormous advantages for participants, exhibitors, and attendants alike, as they will find at EMO more business and learning opportunities from more countries as the intended consequence of the campaigns. As you will see from Luigi Galdabini's presentation in a few moments, EMO deserves a place among the top trade shows in the industry, not only for its size, but also because it's a cool show. But I won't tell you why it's so cool, as I don't want to spoil the surprise. We at the Italian Trade Agency of Chicago are going to help the organizers communicate the event's main features in the USA in the run-up to the show, starting from today's event. Besides this press briefing, news and calls to action about EMO Milan 2021 will find their place in magazines such as Modern Machine Shop and The Fabricator, on our host's web TV channel, IMTS network, and last but not least, through Machines Italia magazine, currently being distributed to hundreds of thousands of industrial machinery users, and through machinesitalia.org, our outstanding website. Some more details on our campaign can be found in the press release we circulated ahead of this briefing. I would like to share a few more words about our digital presence. The Machines Italia website, one of the most powerful tools of a program which the ITA has run for more than 15 years, is a very comprehensive source about the offerings by Italian machinery makers. It covers 16 subsectors, including, of course, machine tools. And we have invested time and money on it to create a visually pleasing and easy to navigate information exchange platform. Please register your company on it. And we've been also expanding, in the meantime, our use of social media channels. And we're looking forward to learning about and redisseminating your company's stories and achievements so that we can grow our audiences together. Please send them over. I'll stop here for now. Please don't hesitate to ask questions or reach out at any time. Thanks.
Thanks, Marco. And now we're going to our main presenter, Luigi Galdabini, who is the General Commissioner for EMO Milano 2021. Just a little background on Luigi. He holds a degree in mechanical engineering from the Politecnico Milano. And for over 30 years, Luigi's been the CEO of the company that bears his name, his family's name, Cesare Galdabini SPA. And under his leadership, the company has grown to become a global leader in the production of metal forming, material testing machine tools. And it's based in Varese in the actual city of Cardano al Campo. Now, Luigi's not only served once, but twice as president of UCIMO Sistemi Procuratori, the Italian Machine Tool Robots and Automation Manufacturers Associations, and he's still a board member. He's also vice president of UNIVA, which is the Association of Industrialists in the province of Varese. As well as being a member of the Italian delegation to CECIMO, the European Association of Machine Tool Industries and Related Manufacturing Technologies, he's also served as president previously in 2015 to 17. Now, let's look forward to Luigi, who will provide us with some surprises and some updates when it comes to what we can expect at EMO Milano 2021, and how the European, and in particular the Italian market, are doing in the machine tool sector. Please welcome Luigi.
Okay, thank you very much for the time you give me. And good morning, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, whatever the time you're following this press conference. Let me first allow to greet President Douglas Woods, or Claudio Boschi, as he likes to say. And just not kidding, Boschi was our former minister in the government, so he has chosen a translation for his name, which is very famous. So thank him again, Douglas, for the opportunity to give a presentation of EMO Milano 2021 within IMTS once again. Unfortunately, on this occasion, we cannot see each other in person and also with our guests, but I really hope that we will be able to meet very soon. In addition, I would like to thank ICE, Italian Trade Agency, Dr. Saladini, that together with his staff supported us in the organization of this first online press conference of EMO Milano 2021. Devo fare? Let me just share.
Yes.
È condiviso?
Quasi. Stava facendo di
Non viene fuori niente. Interrompi. È già condiviso. Can you see the slides now?
Yes, now.
Okay, so we are ready. So I will be helped in my presentation of some data with the slides. So I give again a very warm greeting to all the guests which are connected from Italy and from United States. And before presenting the main features and some characteristics of our exhibition next year, I would like to give you a brief picture of the situation of our sector. As far as 2019 is regarded, the world, you can see here in the bars that the world production of machine tools reached the total amount of 73 billion, which is a record number. The 5 major countries manufacturing machine tools were China, Germany, Japan, Italy, and US. More than that, main exporting countries were Germany, Japan, China, Italy, and Taiwan, where you can see also the percentage of increase or decrease towards 2018. Another very important data is regarding consumption of machine tools, so all the machines that we are going to sell worldwide. So this is amounting to 71 billion euro in 2019, and the most important markets again were China, USA, Germany, Japan, and Italy again. What we can say, all these countries are widely represented among the visitors of EMO Milano and as well as expositors. Year 2020 will be a very difficult year. You know it already due to the virus emergency, but all projections say that 2021 should have a different trend. In particular, we refer to Oxford Economics forecasts, which say or which tell us that after a 28% fall in the 20s, the year 2021 should coincide with the recovery of the machine tool world consumption, expected to grow by about 30%. So the more or less coming back to the previous level. As far as different continents are regarded, in Asia, here you can see some data where in Asia, the investment in machine tools should increase by 35%. We already know that some recovery has started already, coming to a total amount of 34 billion. In Europe, we should see a rise of 19.5% to 18 billion, while in the Americas, South and North, a 31% increase should draw the amount to almost 11 billion euro. If we go and observe the single countries, here they are, all of them should experience a demand recovery, likely to continue as well in 2022 and 2023. If we focus on Europe, 2021, both Italy and Germany should see again a very robust sign plus with regard to investment in production technologies. Here you can see the data. In particular, Germany should report a growth in its consumption attaining 5.8 billion euro with a plus 18%, while Italy should reach a 3.5 billion euro with a 31.5 more than in 2020. This trend, again, for these two countries is confirmed for the period 2022-23. These data are favorable data and show us an evident opportunity to exhibit to EMO Milano in 2021, where recovery should already have started, and we should be really in the upstream of the recovery. Just to remind you that the last Italian edition was held in 2015, and we achieved a record of 100,055 visits. In that exposition, exhibitors coming from US were around 40, and their stands were covering roughly more than 3,000 square meters. So the area was a considerable area. Of course, also in consideration of the big slowdown which is imposed in this year by health emergency, EMO Milano 2021 is a great opportunity for US manufacturers. Lastly, we can observe as the last data point of analysis that the import-export trade between Italy and United States in 2019. In that year, so last year, USA turned out to be the first market of destination for the Italian products. The sector sales of made in Italy totaled 421 million euro, 19% more than the previous year. Last year as well, Italian imports of machine and technologies made in US went up, reaching 32.8 million, with a corresponding to a 4% increase versus 2018. This is the best outcome ever obtained by the US manufacturers in Italy over the last 10 years. Of course, the data regarding 2020 will be certainly different from this one. We don't know them yet, but it is reasonable to hypothesize that already at the beginning of 2021, after the elections in US, the trade relations between the industries of the two countries will be lively again. An interesting figure is that concerning the European imports of machines and technology made in US, which amounted to 463 million in 2019, on the decrease compared with the 2 years before, when US sales to the old continent had a really positive performance. Now we can come and say something more about the show. You already know, but I just remind the story that EMO is alternately hosted in Italy and Germany. Here you can see where the exposition is. And this is the most important show for the operators in the world manufacturing industry. And in the chart, you can see the timeline of the last editions, as well as the fact that EMO in 2021 in Milano will be followed by another 2 editions of EMO in Hanover, Germany, and then 2027 Milano will be the right site again. The show is taking place in the Fiera Milano from 4 to 8 of October, and the show will feature the best international product lines of the sector, showcasing what we define the magic world of metalworking, as this is the slogan chosen for this edition. This means that we will be able to show, and for visitors, of course, to see machine tools, robots, enabling technologies and automation, solution for interconnected and digital factors, and additive manufacturing with the products and technologies spotlight at EMO Milano. In this sense, EMO will be the biggest digital factory ever set up within an exhibition fairground. The large and varied product offering on show, the clear link between production technologies and to IoT systems will be of great appeal to the operators of the world manufacturing industry, representing all major user sectors: machine tools, automotive, aeronautics, aerospace, railway industry, metallurgical sector, and materials. As you can see, this data refer to the previous edition, and there are no reasons to be strongly different in the next one. So, with these peculiarities and characteristics, once again, EMO Milano will be able to attract qualified visitors according to its tradition from all over the world, confirming that the world exhibition afford decision makers of purchases in production technology. Here you can see how important are the people that are attending and visiting the show. EMO Milano is promoted by SESIMO, which is the European Association of Machine Tools, machine tool industries, which I've had the honor to be the president in 2015 till 2017. And SESIMO entrusted the operational structures of UCIMU Sistemi per Produrre, which is the Italian Machine Tools, Robots, and Automation System Manufacturers Association. And so we, as UCIMU, are organizing this event. The entire exhibition center of Fiera Milano will be at the exhibitors' disposal. It's perfectly integrated with national and international public transport systems. So airplanes, airports are really very near. So we are talking of 20 minutes by car. Railway is directly connected with the show. Underground is coming inside the show. And so, of course, connections are very, very easy. Okay. Okay, excuse me. I was alerted that maybe the voice was not as clear as supposed to be. These figures and observations should be enough to convince to exhibit at EMO Milano 2021, which is complemented by several side initiatives which to make the most of the operators' presence in Milano during the event week. Among these initiatives, there is also EMO, what we call EMO Digital, which will have a particular relevance. A display and demonstration area are dedicated to illustrate the potential of digital technologies for the manufacturing world. There is also another area, important, which we call Startup Area, which will highlight the role of startups for the sector, for our sector, as a strong point of innovation. There will be also a speaker corner, which is set up with one of the exhibition halls, which will host a short presentation of technical in-depth analysis by experts, exhibitors, or organizers. So, and this is something that we already experienced in previous shows and which have been very, very successful. On the other hand, EMO Milano 2021 will also be able to give tastes of Italian way of life and the style of to all operators coming to Milano, who will be involved in the presentation and meetings dedicated to the World Exhibition. I don't want to anticipate too much, but we can say that the most important evening, which is the evening of exhibitors, as we did in the past, we will offer a how you say, a music play in the Scala Theater, which is a very attracting moment. And this is also thanks, I want to share this point again with you. This is really thanks to the cooperation and the help with ICE, which is really a strong right hand for us. Among these side initiatives, we have also what we call emotion. So we are taking this the EMO acronyms into this music CD, and this is a compilation of music pieces that are coming from the 5 continents, and we strongly hope that this will be a divertissement on the music of the 5 continents, as is the title. So we will propose a CD or a USB key. The compilation is proposing an ideal journey around the world as a tribute to the 5 continents that are always widely represented among the exhibitors of the World Metalworking Exhibition. Is an accurate selection of songs reinterpreted in a jazz style. The CD is part of a package of promotional initiatives that will accompany the exhibition up to its conclusion. And this contribute, so CD or USB will be at your disposal again, so we will take care of sending you in advance this device. Updated information and details regarding the trade show are available already on the website emo-milan.com. In particular, in the section dedicated to the exhibitors, the website already provides indications concerning participation fees and included services, which you can see in detail in the slide. So there is also a sort of simulation of how will be the cost according to the area and what kind of area is, let's say, for your convenience. From the end of September, this September 2020, it will be possible to register for EMO Milano 2021 by filling out the application form directly online. I thank you for your attention. Remain at your disposal if you have any kind of, let's say, curiosity or question or issue that you would like to share with me. So by now, thank you very much for your attention.
Great. Thanks, Luigi. We've heard a lot about the show here today and how global manufacturing economy is doing with regards to this dynamic sector of machine tools. I'm sure our attendees appreciated it. And now we open the floor up for questions, which I'm sure many of you have. And one of the questions that we'd like to start off with, addressed to both Doug and to Luigi, is how the impact of digital manufacturing, or as it's called, transformative technologies, are having on the manufacturing industry, and how could it affect Italy and the US manufacturers on this scale? Doug, would you like to start first?
Oh, sure. Obviously, what's happened in transformative technologies over the last, call it decade, really, but what's really accelerated in the last 3 to 5 years has been exceptional at really driving new opportunities in the manufacturing technology space. So whether you're talking about AI or machine learning, whether you talk about open standards for being able to more easily exchange data and utilize data to drive productivity solutions, what we're now seeing coming out in augmented reality and the ability to actually have service people in remote locations, be able to connect in with information to allow them to do service and education in ways that we couldn't do before. Generative designs, the things that are happening, be able to accelerate kind of engineering solutions, additive manufacturing, of course, huge, and hybrid. All of these technologies, when you look at them, what they're really doing is it's increasing the number of people that are leveraging and utilizing the manufacturing industry to build out their products and services. So our ability to do things more quickly, to be more kind of unique and innovative in what we develop. But it goes to the goal that everybody has in manufacturing. The end game that you really want is the customer wants the product they want, the way they want it, at the price they want it, as quickly as possible. So essentially, all these new technologies allow us to do that better. And I think what's interesting, and Luigi went through it when he was talking about all those great things that are going to be happening at EMO 2021, is largely to see a very integrated digital kind of platform of technology. All of the people that are in this space are using similar tools in their own unique way to solve problems. And our opportunity, as we have open standards to be able to share information and collaborate and connect these different tools, the end customer can integrate products from Italy, products from Germany, products from the US, products from Japan, and expect that when they hit their factory floor, they're integrated together because of the great way these technology companies are actually bringing forward this digital transformative frontier.
Great. And Luigi, your thoughts on the matter?
Yeah, on the matter, I can add the following, that when we are, let's say that up to a few years ago, when we were talking of a machine tool exposition like EMO was and it still is, we were talking of machine tools. So this was a sector for specialists, I would say. Today, when we are talking of machine tools and of digital manufacturing, because now we should talk of that, we have to consider that machines are not only connected among themselves in the plant, but also outside of the plant. And so this digital world is a unique world, means that there can be ideally, or in the future there will be for sure, and today there is always in the bigger of our, let's say, users and customers, there is a connection between, let's say, the user, the manufacturer, and maybe the supplier. So this digital world, we will try to, to show a little bit of this world as far as we can in EMO. How? We will have an area which, where we will, let's say, gather all the ICT, the best players in the ICT sector, and we will show the connection to the manufacturing world, which is not the connection to the machine tools, because this would be a little bit reductive. Let's not forget that the machine tool builder is a manufacturing company. So we are talking in this sense more of a digital manufacturing rather than digital machine tool. So I hope that my English is clear enough on this point. So basically we will address our message to the machine tool sector, that's clear, but more widely to the manufacturing sector, because we are part of that as manufacturer and we are part of that as supplier of our clients. So we will provide also some physical connections and examples of how to help the manufacturing the manufacturing plants, the manufacturing facilities. So this is what we will try to do, and we will have so connection with the outside of the exposition as well as with the inside, which is of course easier because we are there, so it is not so difficult. So this is what we are looking to do. We will work hardly with the ICT best practice in order that, because we already have them at our side when we are working in our plants. So it is we are more connected than ever, and this will be also a trend for the future. It has already started, and will continue. We cannot stop it. So we have to represent it and to show it correctly.
Right. Thank you, Luigi, and thank you, Doug. And kind of brings us to our next question that we have in terms of how are supply chains being affected for your client industries, like in aerospace or automotive, which are primary sectors that purchase machine tools, be it U.S. or Italian. Are you noticing any dynamics taking place within the supply chain that will require more efforts on the part of your members to fulfill the needs of the clients?
Well, I would say that there is not a different, as far as we see, the more advanced needs that we see, generally speaking, are coming from the automotive sector. Even if now with the virus, the automotive sector is a little bit, let's say, very slow and sleeping. But this is just a moment. So what we see is that the automotive sector is the more demanding. A lot of companies have already their standard and their specs for communication among machines with the outside suppliers. So we are forced sometimes to use their specs. So we have to adapt to, let's say, even different standards, which sometimes are not the same that we are talking in our offices. And then automotive industry, we can assume that only some other big, let's say, big companies are thinking the same as automotive industry. So the aim is the same for everybody. But of course, as a company gets smaller, the more difficult is to, let's say, find a way and find a correct standard to apply to the proper communication. This is a point where small, medium-sized company are, in my opinion, a little bit in difficulty in the meantime. So we are, it's like the world before having a standard of Word, of DOS, or whatever, of Microsoft. Now it's so nice that we can all communicate with the computer as today. But in the data storage, transfer, and sharing, still it is not so.
Okay. And Doug, based on your feedback from member companies on how they're addressing the needs of their client supply chains, what sectors and what questions or solutions are being provided to fulfill the needs of your base?
Yeah, I mean, clearly supply chain issues got to be an enormous point of discussion through this whole COVID period. I mean, it really started happening before that. The tsunami in Japan really made people rethink what they did with their markets and their supply chains, where they got key products. Some of the geopolitical issues that we've had here in the U.S. And China, talking about trade and tariffs, has made people start to rethink things. And then clearly the onset of COVID has really dramatically changed. So when you look at critical core industries in the U.S., like defense and energy, things happening in aerospace, medical, it really called for some dramatic changes and where you actually sourced your products and your supply chain to get things done. And of course, manufacturing technology is at the root of all that. And so some people, talk about, reshoring things coming back to the U.S., mostly that went to Asia. And there'll be a little bit of that. We at AMT just believe in a fair, open trade system. And so if the best place to make your product is in China because you're selling it in China, you should make it there. If the best place to make it's in Italy because you're selling it there, you should make it there. Same thing in the US. But at the end of the day, there will be some people that will say, look, I'd rather be close to the consumption market. Both Marco and Luigi talked about some of the size of the markets. The US is a major consumption market. And so many people will want to then be close to that market and to somewhat protect their supply chain. In some cases, they will then bring some more of their manufacturing to the US. So some of that might be reshoring it. Some of it actually is just foreign direct investment. People making more investments close to the market they're going to actually be supplying to their consumers. And at the end of the day, major markets like the automotive sector and those critical industries I already mentioned are going to want more and more their supply base for critical things to be somewhere nearby. So if you have a pandemic situation like this, or the other things that have been natural disasters that happen that can cut off certain parts of the world at certain points, you don't actually devastate an entire market. So it's an interesting process, and it really makes you think more about micro factories, agile manufacturing, and responsiveness of having a distributed manufacturing solution chain.
As a government, I mean, we are totally committed to that framework that Doug just described. I mean, so we're trying to facilitate in any way we can the choices and the strategic decisions that companies are making every day. So we have in place support for Italian companies in order to attract investments or to relocate to other countries if they so wish. And of course, I mean, we welcome any efforts in this direction by our partner governments and administrations, because we really think that I mean, at the end, the convenience should be evaluated by the market.
Right. And I have a question for both Luigi and Doug, just to jump in. It's we know that new technology is vital, and continued revitalization of manufacturing requires new technologies. But sometimes, for example, automation is more than just augmenting the human and making them more productive. It's not replacing them. How are we going to address the next generation of skill sets required by both client companies and your member manufacturers to fill the need? There's always been a gap, at least here in the US, between skilled and unskilled workers. And it's question is kind of like, what do you do when the Wi-Fi is down? Who do you have locally that can help? What kind of skill sets do you think that for the new generation of people entering the workforce, both in Italy, Dr. Galdabini and Doug, and here in the US are going to be primary? And how should people go about getting it? Online courses may be one solution, but they're not going to replace the actual experience. So Luigi, would you like to start with that question?
Okay, the question is a $1 million at least question. Very difficult. If I have a right answer and mainly the right solution, I would be very rich and very happy. No, apart from laughing, the question is very interesting and very central for us. It's difficult to give an answer in brief. I will try. Let's say the following. Today, apart from a very, very little number of jobs, unskilled labor is going to stay away from our kind of factories. Not only machine tools, but also our, let's say, our clients. So we all know that to manufacture a gear or a shaft or anything, a part in general, you can throw let's say the metal in a box, and then a robot can select with a with a view system, can select the part and load the part into the machine and so on. So the part is coming out. So even the cleaning of the floor or the loading of the machine, which is the lowest level of skill that you can imagine, can be overcome by actual technology. So basically, the idea we have is that everybody should have a certain level of skill. So what we have in mind is that when we say a certain level of skill, we assume a kind of education which has to go up to 18 years, 20 years. So means 13, 15 years of school, which for Italy is the high school, let's say, to exit from the high school with a technical degree in something, electronics, mechanics, or whatever. Point number two is that for our kind of industry, so to use machines or to study, to assemble, to test machines, we would need a good combination of skills which are a little bit in the mechanical field, because we are having, let's say, mechanical, physical machines, a physical product. We need electronics, because there is a lot of electronics in the machine, and mainly we need informatic and information technology skills, because everything is data today. So this is quite difficult, and this is the difficulty that we have in making machines, making them work and serve them, because we will need a person knowing the physical world, which is mechanics, the electronical world, at least quite good, and then also knowing how a computer is moving the machine, is serving the machine, is controlling the machine, and how the data is flowing here and there. This is quite impossible, frankly. So this ideal man, this Superman is not possible. So we need 2 or 3 people to make the job that 30 years ago one good skilled person could do. And so in few words, we need good skilled people so that their brain is working. The brain can be updated very easily because they have a potential of improvement, of improving their skills. So whatever they learn today in school in 5 years is extremely old. So we need people that are, let's say, clever enough and prepared enough by school to update themselves continuously and self-learning things that are needed. So we need good brain and some skill, definitely. No skill, no labor.
And passing the baton to Doug now. Your thoughts on the matter?
Yeah, I agree with Luigi. It's $1 million. So listen, I grew up in the era where I served an apprenticeship. So I started out in this industry serving an apprenticeship. My grandfather was a German immigrant. That's how he learned, and that's how I was taught. And shout out to the Europeans. The Europeans have the best apprenticeship programs anywhere in the world. So, I mean, there's really great models there. The issue really has gotten to be, as much as I love that and as much as that was part of my upbringing, the world's shifted and changed. And it's hard to keep on doing that. And you're going to have a hard time getting people wanting to, quote unquote, serve in a type of apprenticeship that I served. But the reality is, I think those of us that make manufacturing technology equipment, which is what I did for most of my career, we need to look ourselves in the mirror and figure out, how do we just make it a lot easier to run our equipment? If you look at most colleges and you take a look at if they happen to have CNC machines in one of their labs, in an engineering lab, or additive machines in their lab, the CNC machine largely sits there unused by the students. The additive machines get used all the time. The reason is it's really simple to go use the additive machine. You take a model of a part, you download it to the machine, it makes a thing, and away you go. I get it's more complicated than that when you're making gears and splines and intricate prismatic parts. Don't get me wrong, I understand. But the reality is, it's hard to walk up to a typical manufacturing technology piece of equipment and be able to just easily make the part you want. We need to change that paradigm. And these new technologies that we're talking about starts to make that a whole lot easier. So the fact is, kids, when they go through school and want to come into our industry, the things they need to learn change every 6 months. It's not even every 6 years. I mean, it's every 6 months you need to relearn. So learning has to be totally different. And it does get to be, as you said, Bart, it is going to be a lot more online content. It's going to be a lot more augmented reality. It's going to be a lot more virtual space that people are going to learn in. And we, the makers of the equipment, need to make our equipment a whole lot simpler to have people integrate and use. So the automation and all the digital technology we're talking about can simplify how machines interface. So people talk about UI, UX, user interfaces, user experiences. We talk about it relative to websites and things. That actually needs to be how we think and interface with manufacturing technology equipment. And as it gets easier, more people will use it. And creative people are going to come into our industry and kind of expect that's how they integrate and work. And so I see it changing. I'd love to have some part of what was an apprenticeship always be around, because you need to understand the basics, as Luigi said. But I think we should just put our arms around this new technology change and go, I get it. We can make our stuff 1,000 times easier to use and open it up to 1,000 more people that say, boy, I want to be in that industry.
Great. And Luigi, speaking about putting our arms around the technology, you mentioned earlier the digital factory, the one at EMO Milano, will be the largest ever on display at a trade show exposition. Is there a little story about how that came about, how EMO Milano was chosen to showcase?
It's not a story. This is coming from our thinking that I can tell you one thing that I remember the last time once I was in IMTS some years ago. I remember that different from what we were doing in Europe. And I remember because we met Douglas together, I think it was 2017 or 15. I don't remember exactly. But I remember I was a little bit impressed by the fact that there were in the main, near the corridor, near the entrance, I would say, there were a lot of IoT companies exposing. like Oracle was there, Sun was there, Microsystem was there, and so on, many, which was a little bit different from what we see in Europe. Because the American world is partially different, especially in the exposition. So I remember then when we came back, which is not related to me, but to the UCIMO staff, to the CCIMO staff, and also to my colleagues, we were talking that this was a good point of the Americans. And so we should take advantage of the fact that we had seen something. We didn't know everything, we didn't understand everything, but the world was going towards the digital factory. So what can we do for the digital factory? Instead of keep talking, let's bring the companies together to work on something. And so we can work on something by doing different things. So we are working as companies. We have a group of companies that are working to come to the show and have some companies connected, I mean, machines exposed in the exposition connected together through a standard which will be, of course, explained to our customer. You understand what I mean? So, so we are, of course, we have Siemens, for instance, that is helping us, or other companies. So somebody can do that, but many IoT companies that will be in that area are companies that are our, let's say, cousins. So will be of to support not only our companies, so machine tool companies, but they are able to connect machines and to save data, storage data, and so on. So to treat data, let's say, in a word, in this way, they are for the manufacturing world, which is the world of our customer. So if the show has to be a show for our customers, we have to be in favor of them. So, of course, I will try to sell my machines, but I have to sell my machine saying, look, my machine is good for you. Of course, it's the best in the world, but the machine can be connected with other machines, which I don't know at the moment. You can use this kind of protocol of communication. You can do this with the data. You can go there and see how the data can go into the storage room and be treated by the plant manager, for instance, or by the CEO, which likes to see which is the, I don't know, the consumption of tools or energy or whatever in their plant, in his plant. So the idea we had was starting with, with what we saw, and through that we start talking and saying digital, digital, digital. Okay, let's bring the digital world into our world, because our world cannot be an ancient, closed world of mechanical people. We are people that have to stay together with our clients, and our clients needs computer lines and connections to make their factory go and work. And so we are trying to propose the same in our exposition.
Great.
And Bart, I would just kind of add, I don't know if, I'm sure the audience maybe knows this, maybe they don't, but IMTS and EMO don't compete. We collaborate, we partner, we learn a lot of things every year, every other year, going to see what's happening at EMO. Luigi points out sometimes there's something we do that's interesting or unique. We're both serving a common ends. We're trying to take care of largely the manufacturing technology producers and consumers in our different markets. And while there's always an international component, maybe 30% of the people are coming still from outside the area in. So largely there's a U.S. bent on the ones, IMTS here. Same thing in EMO. It's largely for Europeans. If it's in Italy, a little bit more of Italians and maybe other areas. In Germany, maybe a little bit more Germans. But it's still, it has an international component. And so we don't compete with each other. We actually share a lot, and we usually are typically all selling in equal spaces. And what makes these shows unique is there's some smaller and medium-sized companies that are in the U.S. that maybe can't afford initially to go get to Italy to be at a show. So if you come to IMTS, you'll see some companies you might not see at EMO. Same thing. When I used to go in the old days to EMO, I'd see little companies, little Italian companies or a little German company, that I've never seen before, because typically they're not doing major work. And so you have this chance to really build out the creativity of both without them being competitive, trying to overlap one another.
And
I mean, if I may add a couple of words. As I said in my initial greeting, I mean, we actually see the value of this collaboration, and also the value of enhancing international participation at trade shows that we partner with. So that's why also we are considering seriously, although there is no decision yet on the matter, to sponsor the travel of some delegates from different countries to EMO Milan 2021. And so please stay tuned, because we might have news for you as potential delegates, as potential visitors, sponsored by the ITA. And once you're there, please spend as much time as you can at EMO Milan 2021, but also look around, because there's a strong innovation system and manufacturing system that are one and collaborate with each other in Italy. And I invite you to discover. I mean, we have lighthouse plants, for instance, that are open for visits, that can help showcase additional aspects of smart manufacturing, additional to what you will find in the show. We do have companies willing to welcome your visit and go with you about what's going on, and what is the advantage of of their solutions that integrate all the different inputs that we've been talking about: the human, the technological, and of course the financial, because in the end it's also all about money. All right, so I mean, I warmly invite everyone to come and stay a few days, even in addition to the time we will spend at the trade show.
Yes. And Doug, just because of the prominence of your show, just like the prominence of EMO Milano, this year at IMTS Spark, we have around 40 Italian companies virtually participating directly from Italy, and as well, in total, over 100, including their US and North American subsidiaries. And just as we'll see in EMO Milano, Luigi, next year, these events provide excellent B2B opportunities that us as an agency under Marco's leadership are looking to facilitate both for clients and for sellers. And we find that IMTS Spark for 2020 and EMO Milano for 2021 will provide excellent platforms and locations to harvest these kind of relationships and build upon them. We'd like to thank everyone here for watching this conference today. And for those of you watching it on demand, hope you had a Happy New Year. Just kidding. During IMTS Spark, for those of you who are looking for the manufacturing solutions, it'll offer an excellent B2B and B2C opportunities for you. And we invite you to engage with Italian manufacturers and others. And just in EMO Milano, we'll look for you to engage with the U.S. manufacturers that show up there, along with the international showcase of exhibitors, featuring what's the best coming out of Europe and in particular Italy. Now, on the bottom, if we can just show the slide, the closing slide, we have a number of hashtags to promote the conference, and we encourage you to share the links with your fellow journalists. And if you're a manufacturer participating, please feel free to share it as well. We think there's a lot of valuable information that we are able to harvest today during this conference. And this conference will be available on demand until March of 2021 here on the IMTS Spark platform. And we'd like to take this time in particular to give a special thanks to our speakers and the organizations they represent: AMT, Cimo Sistemi per Produrre, whose staff is on board underneath the leadership of Alfredo Marialti, Cecimo, and our office of the Italian Trade Agency here in Chicago and its international network of offices based out of Rome, Italy. And any of these individuals are personally available to address any questions or information or interests that you may have. So while you're packing your bags, getting ready to come to Milan next year, we kindly remember you to remember the 3-ounce rule for liquids on your carry-ons. Don't forget, that'll still be in place in 2021. So thank you everyone for joining, and please feel free to reach out to all of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.